Bye, sweetie. Alright, it's the first time I've been able to get out for a while because all that hyacinth has had me blocked in. I gotta tape the edges on these things. Okay. Oh, the air's bad today. Hazy. Anya's gonna make scones today. I just did my my fasting yesterday for Saturday, the Sabbath. That's one of the things I do. Every Sabbath I fast. It's supposed to be really good for your body to do that periodically. Yeah, it's supposed to make you burn fat naturally because you don't have your regular energy source readily available, so you switch over to adenosine diphosphate ADP instead of adenosine triphosphate. A lot of people say that, you know, when you do endurance activities like running a marathon or that kind of thing, anything where you're aerobic for more than 2 hours at a stretch, you'll get that sensation where you get a second wind. And a lot of people think that that's when your body is transitioning from burning stored glycogen in your muscles to adenosine diphosphate, which is your fat metabolism. So once you do that, you stop using quick energy, high yield energy, and you tap into your stored fat reserves, which doesn't burn as hot metabolically, but it can burn for a really long time. Once you tap into that fat metabolism, you can burn fat until you're out of it, which could be weeks. You know, so long as you are hydrated. And I think if you're going to go long haul with a fast, you want to supplement with trace minerals and nutrients, because you'll be depleting yourself of those otherwise. But if you do that, if you fast smartly, then you can reap all the benefits that your body is set up to do naturally. But it takes some time. You know, the first 24 hours can be kind of a tough transition. This last time I fasted, I did 36 hours, and this time I did about 36 hours. But the last time, I didn't get hungry at all. Not a bit. And then this most recent time, I got pretty hungry. So it was tougher. I think it kind of depends on how you preload for the fasting period. If you come into it with a full belly, you know, the night before, it makes a difference. These guys are just taking off, it looks like. Oh, it's great to get back out on the water. I was going crazy. I was getting cabin fever. I've been getting out for my walks and stuff, but it's just different when you're out on the water. It's just a totally different feeling. I tried to rig up like a long pool skimmer thing to push this, this vegetation away. I got it set up so I could push it away from the wall out about 30 feet, but the problem is if I was out paddling around, for an hour or two, when I came back to the wall, I could be socked in from the river side, and I don't have a pole or anything when I'm on the river to push it out of the way, so I guess I'd have to go elsewhere to get out of the river. Because when it's really socked in over at the seawall, it can be, 150 feet of vegetation between the wall and the open water. There's just no way through it. I got no way to get out of the boat. Oh, it's a nice day. Water's really smooth today. Should be easy paddling. Yeah, it looks like I don't know what's going on with the trekker situation up in Canada right now. I haven't had a chance to really look into that in the last 24 hours or so. But it looks like there's concern that there may be a suitcase-sized device in New York City. That could be a dirty situation, if you know what I mean. And apparently the high-tech instrumentation that's aboard some of our military stuff is picking up on the signature of such a device in that area, and like 9/11, when all the folks in the Jewish community picked up and didn't go to work that day, there were about 4,000 of them that somehow got the message that they shouldn't go into the city. Well, this is also the case where there have been about many thousands of these folks have gotten the message that they should steer clear of New York. So they've gone up to the Hamptons, which is about 90 miles away, and they've taken up in their summer cottages, which are usually mothballed all winter long. So whatever's going on, they were able to take them out of mothballs and head up there to get out of Dodge. So it'll be interesting to see if we have another event in New York City that may not be above board. Hopefully not, but you never know. Crazy times we live in. Crazy, crazy. Wow, it's really hazy. Looks like they've got some high school band or something over here at the temple across the river. I want to go over there and check it out. Let's go see what it is. Why not? Nobody coming. Yeah, it sounds like a marching band. What in the hell is going on over there? Yeah, scones today. That'll be good. I love scones. The good thing about scones is that they're ready to eat very quickly, as opposed to, focaccia or homemade pizza, because you gotta wait for the dough to rise on that stuff. But that's not the case with the scones. So Anya asked what I wanted, and I said, let's do the scones, because I'm ready to eat. So going on? That's the thing about Thailand, is it's such an old country. There are so many different holidays here. They have holidays for, you know, royalty's birthday, and then even after the royalty has passed on, they still celebrate the birthday, and they still celebrate the day of death, and so after, you know, after hundreds of years of doing that, you can accumulate quite a backlog of holidays. The United States isn't that old that we'd have that many holidays yet. You know, it's only what, 225 years or 250 years old. But Thailand's history goes back, you know, well over 1,000 years. Well over. Temperature's good today. It's probably 80 degrees. And it's about 8:30 in the morning, maybe. I don't hear the band anymore. Maybe they're taking a break. I came over here to this temple a while back, and there's an overhang over here where that cement walkway is. You can see the people walking on it. Well, I came over, I had my polarized fishing glasses on, and I looked into the water. Man, there were just zillions of fish in there. Zillions. I don't know what kind of fish they were. They were only about 8 or 9 inches long, but it was just packed. I think a lot of the fish in here get flushed in when the tide comes in. So we'll get schools and schools of these little, they're bigger than an anchovy, but they're smaller than a herring. And I think they're filter feeders like a herring, because they swim around with their mouths open in big schools. Huh, I don't know what they're doing over here. Can't really see. Very good. We'll continue on down the way. They turned the statue around. It used to face out over the water. Interesting. I wonder why they did that. Huh. That must have been a big job. Can't stop yawning. Moving that thing, it's huge. So my friend Rudi is his name. He's a guy I met on social media. He lives here in Thailand too, across the Gulf from where we're at, on a place called Pattaya. It used to be a bustling, touristy kind of area, but over the last couple of years it's gotten a lot quieter over there because of the pandemic. Anyhow, he takes these really great photos of temples and monasteries and things here in Thailand. Just really exceptional work. We've become friends. You know, chit-chatted and stuff about cameras and photography and that sort of deal. Anyway, he is close contacts with there's a monastery up north in the extreme north of Thailand. There's a monastery there where he's friends with the main monk, and this monk is really interesting. He was He was a Muay Thai expert, which is it's a martial art. Thai kickboxing, it's in the Olympics and stuff, but it's a martial art. Anyhow, this monk previously rode in the cavalry, the horseback soldiers, during the drug war here in the Golden Triangle, which was primarily a heroin and opium war right up on the border of Thailand, northern Thailand, and Myanmar, Burma, and Laos, I believe. And there may have been a little bit of China involved, I don't know. Anyhow, yeah, he was involved with that during his professional career. And then in the recent past, this fellow had a stroke, so he's had to start over again with all the troubles that a stroke would give you. Sounds like he's really a fighter and a survivor. Anyhow, Rudi and this guy are good friends, and this guy runs the monastery up there, and apparently this particular monastery does their outreach, so to speak, on horseback, because they have such a large geographic area to cover. They do it on horseback. So Rudi and I got to talking, and Rudi wanted to do something to help the monastery out, and it sounds like the monastery has all these projects that they need to finish up, but they can't because they're kind of tight on money. So Rudi has endeavored to put together a book that is primarily a photo, like a coffee table type book, of his art, of his photography that he's done of the temple, and of incorporating the aspects of the daily life of this monastery, which I think would be super cool. The horses and the monks and the temples, and it's up in really rugged mountain country. So I think it has huge potential to be an interesting project. So I asked Rudi if he might need an assistant. When he goes, he's going to go up there later this next month and spend a week up there with the monks at the monastery. And I asked him if he needed an assistant, somebody to help compile footage or haul equipment, or run to the 7-Eleven or what, I don't know. And he said, yeah. So it looks like I may be going up there to join him, which would be a really cool adventure. That has potential. So that would be fun to work on, and an interesting experience for me. I don't know. Never thought I would do something like that in my life, but you never know. Life can take you in all kinds of directions. Got to go with the flow, I guess, is the story. And the flow is going that way, so. What are they doing over here? Oh, it's the morning temple fair over here. I can't get through the plants though to get up to the dock over here. Sounds like they got a live band. Yeah. Oh, they're rocking and rolling early today. Yeah, doesn't that sound like a cool adventure? The only bad part about it is it's a long haul to get up there. It's like a two-day drive. And I would be going on my motorbike to get up there. But the bike is a reliable bike. And I've never made that trip before, so it'll all be new territory for me. I don't think I'll get lost. I mean, there's only one way to go, and that's north. They don't call it Kwai, they call it Quay. I went up there to check out the War Memorial. It was pretty intense. People don't realize how many, there were something like 150,000 Burmese slaves. And the Japanese soldiers were just brutal. These guys got almost no food, and the conditions were brutal, and the disease in the camps was, they had cholera and dysentery, which you get so dehydrated from those, you're just exhausted, and they just would work you to death until you either dropped on your own or until they dropped you because they were tired of dealing with you. Really brutal. My folks had a friend that was, I think it was Ralph Hibbs. He was an author that spent time in an internment camp, or a prison camp. But I think he was in one that was in the Philippines. And he survived. He lived to tell the tale, but I think it significantly changed him. I can only imagine. Wow, lots of tankers today. Is that another one now? Let's see how many we got. We got one down there by the temple. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've never seen that many tankers down here. I wonder if they're anticipating issues getting oil up here from the south. Interesting. Because of the military stuff going on in the South Pacific right now. It's a long ways from here, but you never know. Just exercise. Oh, พูดไทยไม่ได้ครับนิดหน่อยคนชื่ออะไรครับผมชื่อ Todd ครับ Todd. Nice to meet you. Good morning. Huh? ผมชื่อ Todd ครับ What krokrak? Yeah. My wife. What krok? Mahachai. Yeah. So I see you later. Good day. Had puppies. doing? Hello, dog. What are you doing? Just taking a walk, I guess. Dogs on the loose. Yeah, I've had to fish two dogs out of the water here. They get over that, either they get knocked over the side of a boat or they slip and fall off a dock. And then once they go over that seawall, there's darn few places for them to get out. So some of them drown. But a few of them make it out, and then a few of them get rescued. This last time I rescued one, I was at the compound and I heard all these kids. I ran out back with Anya, and there were 10 kids out there. They were all upset, and Anya asked them what was going on, and they said that a dog was in the river, and they'd been following the dog with this pole, trying to get the dog to somehow latch onto this pole so they could pull it up, but the dog wasn't smart enough to figure that out. So when I got out there, the dog it was out there probably 300 yards, 400 yards in the water, and it was starting to go down. So Anya and I threw the kayak into the water, and I paddled out after it, and I got up to it and grabbed it by the scruff of the neck, and when I grabbed it, it was afraid, and it turned around and bit me. But not badly. It was just a nip. It was just frightened. So I was able to haul it, up into the boat, and the thing was just exhausted, shivering. I don't know. Kids said it had been in the water for over an hour, and they'd followed it down clear from town, which is, it's a mile and a half, 2 miles, a mile and a half on the river. And the dog had been struggling the whole time trying to get out. So we hauled it aside, and I handed it up to the neighboring guy behind the compound. He's got his boats moored there, and he was waiting on the boat for me to hand the dog up, and I handed up the dog and never saw it again. I don't know what happened, but hopefully he made it out okay. I think he probably did. And then the other time, I was coming back from paddling, and I saw something in the water, and the guy on the neighboring slip pointed out this dog that was in the water. And the thing is when I got back from paddling, the seawall was, let's see here, you can see how the seawall is about 5 feet up above the water. Well, the seawall was about 8 feet up because the tide was lower, maybe even 9. And I had to figure out a way to haul this dog up out of the water. First thing I had to do is go get the dog. So I took off my life jacket and I swam over to it, and what I did is I slid the open life jacket underneath the dog's chest and belly so that it had a buoyant platform, and then I wrapped the vest around the dog's back and zipped it up behind it so that the dog was like in a life jacket tube, so it didn't have to swim at all. It was able to just float like a cork. And I got it to calm down, and then I swam over to the guy's boat. He had a ladder down, but it was still 6 or 7 feet from the ladder up to him, and I had 45 pounds of dog. So what I did is that I turned the dog around so that its ass was facing me, and I stuck my arm up through the back of the life jacket and popped my head out around the collar, the back of the dog's neck, and I grabbed a hold of the rung of the ladder with my left arm, so I had the dog vest skewered on my arm like that, and then I was able to grab the next rung up with my right arm, and then slowly I was able to lunge forward and grab a little higher each time on the ladder, and I was able to get the dog up to the guy like that. It was just a lucky break for me and the dog. Yeah, and we got him out and he took off. I felt happy that I was able to help the dog. Yeah, that's the problem with the seawall, is that once a dog gets in, there's really no place for a dog to climb out. There are places where a person could climb out if if the person knew where a rope was or a ladder, but other than that, they'd have to just kind of bob around until somebody fished them out. Here's where I flipped the boat. Where Todd took a swim, right here. I hit this bamboo thing. I was coming in fast and it was really choppy, and my boat was all full of water, and it just flipped me right over. What an adventure. Okay, well, I guess that's it for today, guys. I'll put this video together and send it out, and then catch you later. Have a good day. God bless.